Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to give you my hints and tips on how to grow Cordyline Australis, such as the one behind me. So if you have any extra hints and tips or bits of advice, please leave them in the comments section down below. So here you can see a Cordyline Australis, or New Zealand Cabbage Plant that I've been growing. It's probably 6 or 7 years old. Once they get going, they grow really fast. They can grow around something like 2 foot of trunk a year. And you can see this one is in flower. The flowers haven't come on it yet. You can see a big flower stalk here. There's another one over here. So as they grow their trunk, the first time they flower, once they flower, the trunk will then split into two. So you can see here, the first time this one flowered, it split into two. Then the next time it flowered, it split into two again. So when these flower, they'll split into two again. Not sure why they do that, but they do. And they like dry conditions, good drainage in the winter time. So I've got this in some gravel. I don't water it much, just leave them alone once their roots are established. This one's got a lean on it. Some roots got damaged one year and it leant over, and it's been like that for years now. It doesn't seem to affect it. So a few more tips I've got on this plant. When the leaves go brown, they'll sort of hang down and they'll form like a skirt. They kind of look cool. You could say that it looks good like that, but I remove them, and I remove them because in the winter time, if those leaves are hanging all over the trunk, they can encourage mold and fungus to grow because they hold a lot of water. And these trunks, they're not a hard trunk. It's kind of like a yucca. It's quite soft, and if it gets wet, they do start rotting, and then slugs start eating them. So you want to keep this area as dry as possible and get airflow in there. I mean, you can see here where this one split, you can see some rot here where water was settling and caused a bit of damage, but it's recovered. So they're a bit different to other trees and plants. If you sort of take a piece out of this, it will have a hard time recovering. So they're not too good at that. You can see it's formed quite a thick trunk down at the base. It's quite thick. Another tip I've got, if you've got one that's quite old like this and it gets damaged badly in the winter time, so it defoliates, it's probably going to be faster for you to buy another one and plant it and just get the old one out, because it will recover, but it will take so long to recover that it's just not worth it. If you get a nice young healthy one in the spring and plant it, within 2 or 3 years it'll be up here anyway. So it's probably not worth waiting for one to recover if it gets very badly damaged. So here you can see these big flower stalks, and they'll attract loads of bees, and they're quite fragrant as well. Just go around it. Nice green healthy leaves. Don't worry, these bottom leaves go yellow. They'll yellow off. I think they reabsorb the goodness back into the plant. As I say, just keep this clear, because this gets packed out with a lot of dead leaves, and then when it rains it gets very wet here. Another thing with these plants is that when the trunk gets wet, say if this area gets wet with dead leaves, they tend to sprout out roots because they think they're in the ground because it's wet. So that doesn't do them any good either. Originally from New Zealand. They live okay in a UK climate. Just got to be careful during the winter time because of the prolonged wet conditions. The roots don't like to be wet too much, so plant them in maybe a raised bed or like a dry area, and once the roots settle in, they're absolutely fine. They don't really suffer from many pests. Down by the base, if the soil recedes and exposes some of the roots, you might want to top it up again, because when those roots get exposed, slugs and snails tend to eat them because it's quite a soft trunk, and that's when you get problems like this one where it gets lean. It's fixed itself now, but it's still leaning. But it's fine, you can see. It's got quite the lean on it, but it kind of looks interesting, so I've just left it alone. You can see another flower stalk here. So once they flower, you don't get that singular trunk anymore, it will branch off. That is another Cordyline Australis, and this is a red variety or purple variety. There's many varieties you can get. You can get a variegated one, which is green and yellow. You can get reddish ones, purple ones. So this is just a small one in the ground. This is a good example of what I was saying earlier. So this was a big plant, and one year there was a really bad winter and the entire plant died back. So this has actually grown off the roots, and this one, to get to this size, probably taken 5 or 6 years just to get to this size. So you're better off just buying a brand new one. But it's doing okay. Again, good drainage. Don't water them too much, they don't like it. So now you can see the flowers are starting to come out on this Cordyline Australis. It's blooming, and there's 3 in total. There's 2 here and there's 1 round the back, and the flowers are very fragrant. You can't really walk past one without noticing, and they're large and yellow to white in colour. So the Cordyline Australis is also known as the New Zealand Cabbage Plant, and it's known as a monocot. So it grows a trunk upwards. They can grow up to about 20 metres in height, and they're native to New Zealand. And growing them in your garden, you can expect to get about 50 years out of them if you're lucky, if you don't get a really bad winter, because these do die back in a severe winter. So they'll die back, but then they will resprout from the base. So that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like and comment, and also consider subscribing for more videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.